night from my gym, and it comes with a question: when should I go full time in my business? That is, in your network marketing business. And for those of you that do not know me, I've been involved in network marketing for 40 years. I share a lot of what I've learned in my journey on these live calls. So I'm going to acknowledge some great people that are going to be joining us now. And then I'm going to get into that question on when is it the best time to go full time. So I'm going to let it load. And John Johnson in Baltimore. How are you, John? Hope everything is well in your world. And we also, hey, Debbie in Indiana. Good to see you, Debbie. George in New York. Good to see you. Rocio in California. Good to see you. Hope everything is well in California. It's been I normally go at 9, or I try to, but I had to put in some extra time in this gym tonight. Flavio in Ecuador, Monica in Washington State. Hey, Monica, how are you? Good to see you on the call. And Randy, I'm doing well. From Indiana, my birth state. Had some great years when I was a young child in that state. Linnea in Tennessee. AJ, what's happening? Good to see you, AJ. And then from South Korea, Miss Lee, annyeonghaseyo. I hope all is well with you. I hope you're getting out into the parks and going for walks. And they've been very strict in that country regarding COVID. But good to see you. What I love about her is her English isn't perfect, man, but she shows up on these calls, man. And if I got on a call where they spoke Korean, I wouldn't know the first thing they're talking about. Oh, that's a fascinating language. Very fascinating. Yes, hello. Good to see you. annyeonghaseyo. We have like, what, 2 weeks left in the month? Something like that. And then all you got is December and the year is over. So think about how you want to finish the year. And don't think about, hey Diane, nice to see you. Don't think about the fact that in December people, won't take a look at your business, because the last company I joined almost 22 years ago, that's the month I joined, was December. So, this is an excellent time. You want to use November to really build your speed, because you're going to take that speed on into December. And you want to keep that speed going. Why? You want to keep it going. You can take some time off for the holidays. That's fine. I wouldn't take the whole month off. You will not like what January is going to look like. because January needs to run on the speed that you built in December. So, yeah, so that's something to think about as we near the end of this year and begin a new year, and the goals that you set. And some of those goals and the questions that some have is when is it a good time to go full time in network marketing, or when should I? And it's a great question. I've been full time in network marketing about 28 years now, 28 years, and I've loved it because it's been 28 years of freedom where I've been able to enjoy my life, live where I want to live, and do great things, do fun things, and travel the world, and just meet incredible people. That's where I met my wife, traveling in Taiwan. Lived on the ocean in a penthouse for 5.5 years. That was cool. You can do some very interesting things when you have the freedom, to go where you want to go, because you can't do that with a job, right? With a job, wherever that job is where you live, right? And that pretty much controls how much time you're going to ever have to see anything. Great thing about network marketing I love is you can live anywhere you want to live. I could live anywhere. I could live in Paris. I could live in London. I could live in Moscow, Russia if I wanted to. I mean, I could live anywhere. And the reason is because network marketing companies will make a direct deposit in your bank account. And after that, you can take that money, do what you want with it. So that's incredible freedom, incredible freedom. So the desire to want to go full time was always big for me. But here's the thing I want you to think about always. And also, when you hear your leaders talking about going full time, you need to tell them this. Because if you don't, you could end up losing a great leader if you don't. And that is, I want to see you become a part-time success story before you become a full-time success story. A lot of people think that time fixes success or the lack of success. That if you're not having success, it's just because you lack the time. It's amazing to see that people with limited time will get more production done with those who have nothing but time. So going full-time will not accelerate your success unless you have daily rituals that you have mastered in this business. So let me give you, an example. So I can remember back in the 1990s. That would be around 1993, 1994. Yeah, 1994. I can remember that I was working my business part-time. Now, it took me, from the time I started, my goal was $5,000. I said, if I can get to $5,000, then I'm good. And then after that, I just build it. I just keep building it. And it goes wherever it goes. If I make more than that, great. And during the day, during the week, I had a job, so I cleaned carpet. I go out, clean carpet. But when I came back, parked the truck, got back to my apartment where I lived at that time, I would eat something, and then I would go down the hallway and start making phone calls, start making appointments. At the same time, back then, every month I mailed out a newsletter. That's what you did back then in 1994. I would send out a newsletter that had some great education on wellness as well as tips on network marketing, how to be successful at it. And then I'd have my phone number where people could reach me. That was how you did it back then. I remember licking those stamps. Okay, crazy. But what I did was I focused. So when I got back home, when I left my job, that's when I started working on my career. And then I would go down the hallway, close the door, start making phone calls, make appointments. Weekends, I would go out and do meetings. I'd see people, things like that. And I was consistent with those rituals. See, that's the other part too. See, more time will not accelerate your success if you're not consistent with your daily rituals. And I was consistent with my rituals. Simply meaning prospecting people, following up with people, sponsoring people, coaching them, onboarding them properly, things like that. And so I was consistent with those rituals. And then I can remember that when finally that day came, that day that I was waiting for those of you that just joined, we're talking about the year 1994 when I was working my way to, I was working from becoming a part-time success story to a full-time success story. So when that day came and I got that check, that $5,000, I said, that's it. That's it. And I quit my job. And then I had this small little Omni, or was it a Horizon? I forgot. They're the same. They look the same. Chrysler. If you remember those little cars, tiny little cars. I mean, they're tiny. They got a big back window, though. A big back window. And I remember I said, okay, I'm going to hit the road, man. I'm going to go out and meet the people I'm getting paid on. And so I decided to take off for a whole entire month. I said, I'll do a meeting in Nashville, Tennessee. Then I'm going to go up to Ohio. Then I'm going to go on into Montreal, Canada, Quebec. Then I'm going to swing over into Nova Scotia. And then I'm going to swing down into the state of Maine, where I had a very large downline there. And I was going to stay in Maine for weeks. And then finally Virginia, and then finally home. And I remember when I took off, I had a blown up version of the compensation plan that I was going to use for my meetings, right? And the only place it would go is behind that big window in the car that I had. So when I drove down the interstate, everybody was reading the compensation plan. Everybody was reading it. I got to the Canadian border and the guy looked at me and said, what is that? I said, oh, that's a compensation plan. He said, pull over. Get all your stuff, bring it in my office. I want to know what you're doing here in Canada. Okay. Now, Seth, explain that to me, that compensation plan. I said, you want to know the compensation plan? Yes, I do. I said, okay. And I began, I said, this is where you begin. This is the starting point. You come in for a kit, it's X amount of dollars. You start with some products, it's X amount of dollars. Your goal is to move up to the next rank. And then I said, how you get at this rank and how you achieve this rank is this. And I went all the way. And finally, when I got to the top position and explained all that, I looked at him and I said, that's how you do it. Now, my only question to you is, are you ready to get started? And he said, get out of here. So he let me go. And I went off and drove to Montreal and couldn't read any of the signs. The only thing I called the guy, I said, just tell me the exit number, man. Everything is French. Everything. So, but going back to, so that was my first experience of launching into, going full-time. And yes, I was scared to death going full-time. I was scared to death. I said, this is my only income, my only income. So here's something to think about. When you have leaders talking about wanting to go full-time, never discourage it, cheer it on. Sure, absolutely. That's an awesome goal. It is. But let me advise you to do this first. I want you to be a part-time success story first. Let's master that. In other words, I want to see you master an income for at least 6 months. In other words, you might get a big check one month. I can remember back in the 1980s when we used to do meetings, this one guy one time got a $10,000 check. So at the end of the meeting, when different people would stand up and share their business experience, that was the one experience he shared. But Frankly, that was the only big check he ever got. After that, he didn't get any more big checks. So it was sort of a fake it until you make it kind of thing. I never liked that. Didn't like that at all. So what you have to do is make sure that you have a solid income for at least 6 months. It can't be up and down, roller coaster. No, 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 no. It's got to be solid. Then it's predictable. Then you can consider going full time. But again, thinking that if we throw more time into it, that we're going to accelerate our success without the daily rituals is a big mistake. We have to have those daily rituals mastered. That's most important, to get that down. So if we help our leaders to understand, and think about it, let's just say, I'll pick on you men, okay? All right, so you want to go full time. I get it. I think it's awesome. I know that's what I wanted to. But think about this. If you're bringing in an extra, let's say $30,000 a year from your network marketing business, and your present job is paying $60,000 a year, that's $90,000 a year. Your wife is loving you. She's loving you, right? I mean, she makes good dinners for you. Gives you massages too, right? But then you decide to go full time, premature full time, okay? You didn't do the 6 month wait like I talked about. Make sure you're solid. You took the plunge. And then all of a sudden, your checks crash because, well, unforeseen things happen. But it happens. Or you didn't give it enough time to make sure it was solid enough. And now your income has crashed and you don't have a job. How does your wife feel about your network marketing opportunity now? Right? Yeah. So, and I've been through that before. Okay? From a previous wife, okay? And she didn't like network marketing. She really didn't, because she saw me go bust a few times with it. And I can remember the conversation, and the company that I joined in March of 1993, we had a weight loss product and a cleansing tea. A cleansing tea. Now think about that. A cleansing tea. What exactly does that mean? It means when you drink it, you want to go to the bathroom. Of course, when I got it, I thought it tasted so good. First time I got that product, I unboxed it. I had 2 cups. And I'm sitting in the bathroom on the toilet and the door's closed and she's pacing around outside the door, stalking me. So, what did you join? And how's that working for you now? Okay. Oh, those are things that I never forget. Never forget. Anyway. So, and I remember that was one thing that she wanted to make sure that I did not quit my job, and I had to really prove it was going to work. So, encourage your leaders to become a part-time success story. Make sure their checks are solid for at least 6 months before they go full-time. And if they're going to go full-time, they need to understand time does not accelerate it unless you do the daily rituals. So that's my thought. Anyway, now I'm going to bug out of this place, and then I'll catch you. I'll put out some value tomorrow. Hope all you guys are doing good. Love all of you. Appreciate you jumping on this with me. Take care.